Hello, welcome to Arthie Thinks. For today's episode of Arthie Thinks, I asked my followers and friends on IG to give suggestions on what I should talk about. And most of them actually suggested that I talk about my experience as a member of the selection committee of the Miss Universe Philippines 2020 pageant. So here we go, I'll talk about it today. First, let me talk about the travel experience. It was a domestic travel from Manila to Baguio. I'd say a lot of pre-work was needed, online registration, swab tests, etc. that are required for anyone who's entering Baguio. So if you're traveling domestically in the next few months, make sure to have the right preparation and permits, the right pre-work, and then make sure you have buffer in terms of time in the travel so that you won't get stressed out when you reach your destination. The next thing I'd like to talk about would be learnings on production. First, the Miss Universe Philippines pageant for 2020 is the first live event since March, something of that magnitude. And I commend the organization for being able to achieve such a feat. Now, there were questions. Hindi ba mas maganda ang live? Hindi ba nawawala yung magic of the pageant? I'd say the organization did its best on what it can given the social distancing protocols. Again, the most important part would be the health and safety of the girls and the production staff. Therefore, I actually agree with the tape performance, because if we were to do a live one, I would say if you're in a live setup, typically you are in a rush, you would want to achieve a lot of things. So there might be instances where possibly you might be forgetting the social distancing or physical distancing protocol. So I like the part that it's actually taped because number one, health and safety of the girls was actually taken care of. Number two, I don't think it impacted the way the judges scored the girls because we were scoring them as they come out. And lastly, since the actual pageant is taped, the judges were able to rest in between the actual segments, which gave us time to reflect, recover, so that we're prepared for the next segment and therefore give justice to our judging when the girls actually perform. Now, let's talk about the actual pageant, the exciting part. Now, because this is Arthie Thinks, I'll be talking about the pageant using different lenses I would have based on my different interests. First, let me talk about it as a pageant fan. Definitely, it was a dream come true. I would say it was great to have both the live experience and seeing the girls perform on screen. So if you were to see the videos, I made sure I had that moment, those moments captured, having a judge's view in terms of live and then on screen. Because as a judge, as a pageant fan, I had to ensure that I had a holistic view of the performance of the girls. So yan, sobrang dream come true. I have all the videos saved in my archives, and I would say I'll be reviewing them over and over the next few years. So yun yung I think the biggest part. That's why I'm happy for the intersection of corporate profession and personal passion that allowed the stars to actually align for this once in a lifetime opportunity. The second thought I had was I felt like I was bringing to life my role as a job interviewer throughout the whole pageant. As an experienced interviewer for corporate, I usually have a framework to follow in terms of an actual interview. And I'd say I was able to use that experience when the girls were actually performing during the Q&A, making sure that number one, they were making sense. Number two, I could piece together the different thoughts that they would have. And number three, the right impact to me as a receiver of the message. Para siyang job interview talaga. But I would say I made sure that I had a balance of gut reaction and reflection. The biggest flaw for something of this magnitude when you're listening for just 30 seconds is thin slicing. That term, which is described as the ability to find patterns and events based on thin slices on your previous windows of experience. It's good and bad. It's good because if you have the right breadth of experience, you would be able to make sense of what's happening in front of you. But assuming you don't have it, then it might result to a misinformed judgment. So yun, I made sure I had that balance of gut reaction, thin slicing, but at the same time listening to the actual messages that the girls are actually sending. The next thing I'd like to talk about would be Rabia Mateo, the winner. I would say I won't comment on her actual performance. You've seen all the videos, all the reactions that were given to her great performance that night. But I would say my biggest lesson for Rabia would be, it's not how great you start, but it is about how great you finish when it comes to these types of endeavors. She worked hard to get where she was in terms of getting the crown. She wasn't my favorite at the start, but there was just something that she was able to deliver that night. It was a night of transformation. In one interview, I even called it an invisible spotlight that seemed to follow her, that made my eyes drawn to her. And most importantly, that final Q&A where I felt the right impact na I saw some glimpses of that during the prelims, but it was just different on that night. And I would say, as viewers, as fans, let that be a lesson for us in terms of whatever endeavor we would have in terms of career, in terms of big projects in life. Make sure that we work hard, we stay true to our core. During those moments na kailangan mong humugot to deliver, magawa natin yun, not just to deliver, but over-deliver. And I would say that's a great transformation story for Rabia. The other thing, she's just starting to transform. Gumaganda pa siya, gumagaling pa siya, and I'm just so excited for what is ahead of her. I think we have a great Miss Universe Philippines candidate in front of us. For the last part of Arthie Thinks, let me answer this very interesting question. What were my favorite moments during the actual pageant? First, it was seeing the OGs on stage. Venus, Shamsi, Janine, Ariella, and MJ. It was a dream come true for me to see them together. But more importantly, this gave me the realization of what we need for the next Miss Universe. You would need to see that invisible spotlight even years from now. That aura of, oh yeah, she was a winner and she continues to be a winner. She has that she has that unmistaken beauty, and I would say a specific type of aura that you're just drawn to her. You would like to listen to her. You would want to see what she has to say, and that was very exciting for me. The second thing that was most memorable for me was the evening gown competition. It was the segment that I ensured I was able to take as much videos as I can. For me, it is the portion of the show where you would really see the confidence and the difference between the girls, among the girls. So, if you could see the videos that I am playing right now, sa totoo lang, I was in awe the whole time. It was a difficult time to judge. It was surreal again for me, but I would say this is the part where you will see the confidence of the girls in a different level, and it was easier for me to pull the performances apart. Kasi sa swimsuit, hirap na hirap talaga ako eh. But this part, you could see the magic of the right gown with the right confidence of the girl that will make the perfect performance for an evening gown competition. The last and most memorable moment for me during the pageant was after Rabia gave her final answer to the final Q&A. I'd say it was that moment when she finally changed my mind in terms of who deserves to have the crown. Of course, I had a difficult time, but when I was making that final decision, I went back to that moment. That girl just gave something that's magical during that night. And for us, it's a story on underdogs, on how we can always beat expectations when we're able to work hard, stay stay true to our core, but find the right inspiration and be driven by the right passion to deliver. And I would say that's the most important part of being a Miss Universe nowadays amidst these difficult times. How to find that inspiration, be a symbol of hope, and most importantly, represent your country well. So that's my experience for Miss Universe Philippines 2020 as a member of the selection committee. I will always be a fan. I am excited for what is to come for our winner and what is to come for the girls that that were part of the pageant. And I'd say this is just the start of a beautiful journey as they all conquer the universe. So if you enjoy today's episode, I hope you comment below. Please like and subscribe, and see you on the next episode of Arthie Thinks.